What if I told you that Japanese drivers are paying half what you're paying at the pump? And it has nothing to do with their cars. No expensive mods, no hybrid battery, just 10 simple habits they teach in driving school that we completely ignore in the West. I'm talking about cutting your fuel costs by up to 50% starting this week. The secret? It's called eco-driving, and the first technique alone will save you 10% on every single trip you take. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to do it. Method 1. E-Start. Let's start with the single most important habit in the entire Japanese eco-driving system. It's called the E-Start, and if you only take one thing away from this video, make it this. The E-Start is a specific acceleration technique. From a complete stop, you accelerate gently enough to reach 20 kilometers per hour in exactly 5 seconds. Not 4 seconds, not 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Let me give you the deeper understanding of why the E-Start is so powerful. Modern engines have an engine control unit that's constantly making decisions about how much fuel to inject. When you press the gas pedal aggressively, the throttle position sensor tells the ECU that you need power immediately. The computer responds by enriching the fuel mixture, adding more gasoline than necessary. This ensures maximum power, but kills efficiency. But when you accelerate gently, the ECU keeps the fuel mixture leaner, closer to the ideal ratio of 14.7 parts air to 1 part fuel. This is where engines achieve their best efficiency. Every drop of fuel is being used effectively. Here's another benefit. The E-Start technique reduces wear on your transmission, drivetrain, and tires. Gentle acceleration means everything lasts longer. Your transmission shifts more smoothly. Your tires don't spin and scrub. Even your brake pads last longer. Let me give you a practical example. With aggressive acceleration, you might hit 20 kilometers per hour in 2 seconds. With the E-Start method, you take 5 seconds to reach the same speed, but you use roughly 35 to 40% less fuel to get there. Multiply that by every single start you make in a day, maybe 20 or 30 starts on a typical commute, and the savings become massive. This is why the Japanese consider this the foundation of all eco-driving techniques. Method 2. Steady speed. Now let's talk about maintaining a steady speed. Most drivers completely fail at this without realizing it. Pay attention to your own driving. Watch how often you press the gas, then the brake, then the gas again, then the brake again. This constant speed fluctuation is murdering your fuel economy. Here's what typically happens. You're following too closely, maybe only 1 or 2 seconds behind. That driver taps their brakes. Now you have to brake too. Then they speed up, so you press the gas to keep up. This cycle repeats over and over, wasting fuel every time. The Japanese approach is different. They teach drivers to maintain a following distance of 3 to 4 seconds. Here's how you measure that. Pick a fixed object like a sign. When the car ahead passes it, start counting. You should pass that same object after 4 seconds. This gives you a buffer zone for tiny adjustments instead of constantly switching between gas and brake. Think of it like this. Every time you brake, you're converting fuel energy into heat and throwing it away. Then you burn more fuel to recreate that energy. It's the most inefficient cycle possible. Studies show that maintaining steady speed on the highway improves fuel economy by 15 to 30% compared to aggressive driving. In city driving, even small improvements yield 5 to 10% gains. The key is anticipation. Look several cars ahead, not just at the car in front of you. Method 3. Early deceleration. Method 3 is what Japanese drivers call early release, and the fuel savings are immediate and measurable. Here's the concept. When you see a red light ahead, take your foot completely off the gas pedal as early as possible and let the car coast. Don't keep your foot on the gas until the last moment and then slam the brakes. Use engine braking to gradually slow down. When you release the gas pedal in a modern car, something interesting happens. Most fuel-injected engines enter deceleration fuel cutoff mode. The injectors literally stop spraying fuel into the cylinders while you're coasting in gear. You're using zero fuel while the car slows down naturally. Compare that to keeping your foot on the gas until the last second, where you're still burning fuel right up until you start braking. It's the difference between using zero fuel and using fuel unnecessarily. The Japanese government estimates that proper early deceleration improves fuel economy by 2%. The real skill is developing the ability to read traffic ahead. Experienced eco-drivers can anticipate when they'll need to slow down, sometimes coasting for hundreds of meters without touching either pedal. Here's a practical example. You see a red light 300 meters ahead. The average driver keeps their foot on the gas until 50 meters away, then brakes hard. An eco-driver lifts off the gas immediately. Sometimes that light turns green before you reach it, so you never have to stop at all. Method 4. AC optimization. Let's talk about smart air conditioning use. This is huge, especially in hot climates, because your AC system is one of the biggest power draws in your vehicle. Here's what most people don't understand. Your car's climate control has two separate functions. The AC button controls the compressor, which cools and dehumidifies air. But the heater doesn't use any extra fuel. It simply redirects heat that your engine is already producing as waste. So here's the rule. In winter, never use the AC button. Just use the heat setting. You're getting free warmth from the engine. In summer, only use the AC when you actually need cooling. If you just need airflow, turn off the AC button and use the fan. Running your AC compressor can reduce fuel economy by 10 to 20% in city driving. That's huge. If you're driving with the AC on constantly when you don't need it, you could be wasting $20 or $30 a month. Many Japanese drivers crack their windows slightly instead of running the AC at lower speeds. Below 70 kilometers per hour, open windows are actually more efficient than AC. Here's another tip. Park in the shade whenever possible. When your car isn't blazing hot inside, you won't need to blast the AC as hard. And when you first get in a hot car, open all the windows for the first minute to let the superheated air escape naturally. Method 5. Stop idling. Method 5 is going to be controversial, but the science is clear. Turn off your engine if you're stopped for more than 1 minute. The old advice used to be that starting your engine uses more fuel than idling. That was true for carbureted engines in the 1970s. But modern fuel-injected engines? Starting them uses about the same amount of fuel as 10 seconds of idling. So if you're sitting still for a minute or more, you're literally burning money for no reason. Idling for 10 minutes burns roughly the same amount of fuel as driving 1 kilometer. Think about all those times you're sitting in a parking lot waiting for someone, or in a drive-through line that's not moving. That's pure waste. Many newer cars have automatic start-stop systems built in for this exact reason. The Japanese are meticulous about this. In many Japanese cities, there are actual anti-idling ordinances that fine drivers for letting engines run unnecessarily. Now, doesn't starting and stopping the engine repeatedly wear it out? The answer is no, not with modern engines. Engine wear happens during cold starts, when there's no oil pressure. Once your engine is warmed up, stopping and restarting causes virtually no additional wear. Here's the math. If you idle for just 10 minutes a day, that's over 60 hours of idling per year. At typical idle consumption rates, that's roughly 10 to 15 gallons of fuel wasted annually, just sitting still, going nowhere. Method 6. Route planning. Moving to Method 6. Route planning. GPS and smartphone apps have made this incredibly easy, yet most people don't do it strategically. The Japanese eco-driving guidelines specifically recommend checking traffic conditions before every trip and choosing routes that avoid congestion. Stop-and-go traffic is the absolute worst condition for fuel economy. When you're stuck in traffic, you're constantly accelerating and braking. Your engine is running, but you're covering very little distance. Your fuel economy can drop to half of what it would be on a free-flowing road. Even if a less congested route is slightly longer in distance, it'll often use less fuel because you can maintain steady speed. Modern navigation apps like Google Maps and Waze show you real-time traffic. Use them. Before I leave for any trip, I open my navigation app and check the suggested route. If I see red sections indicating heavy traffic, I look for alternatives. Sometimes the app will suggest a longer route that's faster because it avoids congestion. Take that route. Plan your departure times to avoid rush hour when possible. If you have flexibility, leaving 30 minutes earlier or later can mean the difference between smooth sailing and gridlock. Here's another tip. Combine your errands intelligently. Instead of making 3 separate trips throughout the day, plan one efficient route that hits all your stops in a logical order. This is called trip chaining, and it can dramatically reduce your total miles driven. Method 7. Tire pressure. Let's talk about tire pressure. This is one of those maintenance items that people know they should check, but almost never do. And that's a shame, because underinflated tires are one of the biggest silent fuel economy killers. Here's the physics. When your tires are underinflated, they deform more as they roll. More of the tire's surface contacts the road, creating more rolling resistance. More resistance means your engine works harder to move the car forward. More work equals more fuel consumption. The Japanese eco-driving program recommends checking tire pressure every single month. Tires naturally lose about 1 psi per month through normal permeation. Plus, temperature changes affect pressure dramatically. For every 10-degree Fahrenheit drop in temperature, your tires lose about 1 psi. So if you checked your tires in summer when it was 90 degrees, and now it's winter at 30 degrees, you've lost about 6 psi just from temperature change. That's significant. Studies show that proper tire inflation can improve fuel economy by up to 3 to 4%. Here's what I recommend. Buy a good quality tire pressure gauge for about $10. Keep it in your glove box. Once a month, check all 4 tires plus your spare. Inflate them to the pressure listed on the sticker inside your driver's door jamb, not the max pressure on the tire sidewall. Do this when the tires are cold, meaning the car hasn't been driven for at least 3 hours. When tires heat up from driving, the pressure increases. Method 8. Reduce weight. Now for Method 8, reduce weight. Every extra kilogram you're carrying requires fuel to accelerate and to carry up hills. Physics doesn't care what that weight is. Your engine has to burn fuel to move it. The Japanese guideline states that every 100 kilograms of extra weight increases fuel consumption by approximately 3%. In American terms, that's about 220 pounds. You might think you don't have that much extra stuff in your car, but you'd be surprised. Go clean out your trunk right now. I bet you'll find golf clubs you haven't used in 6 months, a heavy toolbox, old car seats, bags of stuff you meant to donate, and all kinds of random items. Get all of that out. I've seen people carrying around 40-pound spare tires when their car came with a tire repair kit. Others have roof racks permanently installed that they use maybe twice a year, creating aerodynamic drag on every trip. The Japanese take this seriously. They even recommend removing unnecessary items from inside the car. That heavy briefcase you leave in the back seat? Take it out when you're not using it. Here's something most people don't think about. A full tank of gas weighs about 50 to 60 pounds more than a nearly empty tank. Some extreme eco-driving enthusiasts only fill their tank halfway to reduce weight. Another big weight culprit is aftermarket accessories. Subwoofers and amplifiers can add 50 to 100 pounds. Be honest with yourself about what you actually need. If you haven't used something in your car in the last month, it probably doesn't need to be there. Method 9. Avoid harsh acceleration. Method 9 is about avoiding harsh acceleration by learning to anticipate traffic flow. This is a mindset shift, not just a driving technique. Most drivers are reactive. They respond to what's happening right in front of them at the last possible moment. They see a car slowing down, so they brake hard. They see a gap opening up, so they accelerate hard to fill it. But eco-driving is about being proactive instead of reactive. It's about reading the road ahead and making smooth, gradual adjustments before you actually need to. Here's an example. You're driving down a city street and you see that the light 3 blocks ahead just turned red. The reactive driver keeps their foot on the gas until they reach that light, then brakes hard and sits there idling. The proactive driver lifts off the gas immediately, coasts for those 3 blocks, and arrives at the light just as it's turning green. They never had to stop at all. This is what Japanese driving instructors call green wave surfing. In many cities, traffic lights are timed so that if you travel at a certain speed, you'll hit mostly green lights. This technique requires you to look far ahead, not just at the car in front of you. Raise your sight line. Look at the traffic patterns several cars ahead. Look at traffic lights in the distance. Studies have shown that aggressive drivers who weave in and out of traffic arrive only about 2 to 3 minutes faster than smooth drivers on a typical 20-minute commute. They're using 20 to 30% more fuel to save 2 minutes. Method 10. Regular maintenance. Finally, let's talk about Method 10. Regular maintenance. This is the foundation that makes all the other techniques possible. You can drive as efficiently as you want, but if your car isn't properly maintained, you're leaving fuel economy on the table. The Japanese have a maintenance philosophy called Shaken, a rigorous inspection system that every vehicle must pass every 2 years. While we don't have that same system, we can adopt the same mindset. Proactive maintenance rather than reactive repairs. Let's start with the basics. Your engine air filter. When this gets clogged with dirt and debris, your engine can't breathe properly. It has to work harder to pull in air, which means it uses more fuel. A clean air filter can improve fuel economy by up to 10% in older cars and about 2 to 3% in modern fuel-injected cars. Speaking of oil changes, use the exact oil viscosity recommended in your owner's manual. If it says 0W20, don't use 5W30. Modern engines are designed with tight tolerances, and the correct oil reduces friction significantly. Spark plugs are another big one. Worn spark plugs cause incomplete combustion, which wastes fuel. Replace them according to your manufacturer's schedule, usually every 60,000 to 100,000 miles. Check your wheel alignment. Misaligned wheels create drag and uneven tire wear, both of which hurt fuel economy. If your car pulls to one side or your steering wheel isn't centered, get an alignment. The bottom line is this: follow your manufacturer's maintenance schedule religiously. It's not just about reliability, it's about efficiency. Advanced tips. Maximize your results. Now let's talk about some advanced tips that can help you maximize your fuel savings even further. First, use the correct oil viscosity. I mentioned this briefly, but it's worth emphasizing. The difference between 0W20 and 10W30 might seem small, but in a modern engine designed for 0W20, using the wrong oil can reduce fuel economy by 1 to 2%. Over a year, that adds up. Second, check your wheel alignment regularly. Poor alignment not only creates drag, but it also causes uneven tire wear, which means you'll need to replace your tires sooner. If you notice your car pulling to one side, get it checked immediately. Third, remove roof racks when you're not using them. Even an empty roof rack creates significant aerodynamic drag at highway speeds. Some studies show that roof cargo can reduce fuel economy by 10 to 25% at highway speeds, depending on the size and shape. Fourth, use cruise control on the highway. Cruise control maintains a perfectly steady speed, which is more consistent than any human driver can achieve with their foot. This can improve highway fuel economy by 5 to 10% on flat terrain. Now, let's talk about the reality check. I promised you could save up to 50% on fuel, and that's achievable, but it requires aggressive application of all these techniques combined. Most people who adopt Japanese eco-driving methods see savings of 20 to 35%, which is still substantial. In city driving with lots of stops and starts, the savings can be even higher. The key is consistency. You can't just use these techniques occasionally and expect dramatic results. They need to become habits. So, there you have it. 10 Japanese eco-driving methods that can cut your fuel costs by up to 50% without any modifications to your car, without buying expensive hybrid technology, just by changing how you drive. So here's my challenge to you. Try the 5-second e-start technique for 1 full week. Just that one habit. Count to 5 every time you accelerate from a stop. Pay attention to your fuel gauge. Then come back to this video and comment your results. I want to hear how much you saved. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more car maintenance secrets. And if you know someone who's complaining about high gas prices, share this video with them. Let's spread the knowledge. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy eco-driving!